Hey everybody, Brandon Wagner here for Crazy Color and Tribeca Color Salons. Just want to show what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be transforming a young lady to having a great shaggy haircut and utilizing 3 of our different green tones to create a darker root, moving into a much lighter green on the ends. Hope you enjoy the video today. So to begin the haircut, we're going to separate in a halo section and draw all the hair to what I call an invisible line. That invisible line floats in space above their eye, and I like to keep the projection pretty much parallel to the floor. What this creates, as you over direct all the hair to that line, it will create a soft transition in the face framing. But then what I do is I go in and I extend it all the way to the back. So ultimately all of the hair is going to be brought into this invisible line, over directed around the actual shape of the head. By following the shape of the head like this, it creates a very nice natural transition from shorter in the front to longer in the back. Once all the hair is cut to that invisible line, I now switch to more of a classic concave shape, starting off with a mohawk section in the center part, draw all the hair up into the center, and that is going to be cut at a slight angle from shorter in the front to longer in the back. Then moving through the side panels, I direct all the hair into that center mohawk section and cutting to blend. I then will travel in pie-shaped sections around the back of the head, bringing all the hair to the crown, and then connecting that concave shape out to the perimeter. And if the hair does not reach this line, I do not cut it. Now here's where I can customize the haircut and create a lot of open texture. This is a really fun technique I love to do. It's called scoop texturizing. And what I do is I enter the hair with a half open shear, and as I close the shear, I both turn the shear towards my wrist and also pull away. So what this does, it creates a curved triangular shape that really opens up the texture. I'll do this throughout the entire head shape, and then as I move into the top of the crown, I really need to open up the volume. So I will go in with a half open shear and then slowly close, creating V-shaped sections, removing a lot away from that interior. Now let's have some fun with the lightening process. What I do here is I use crottinage. Crottinage is backcombing, so I do a little bit of a variation here, which I really enjoy doing. I take the hair, comb it straight down, I then move it over 45 degrees, that's where I backcomb it, then I put it back to its original position, which creates an automatic angle, which creates a V shape. So what I do is I take the hair back to its original point after the backcomb, then I apply the lightener all the way up to where my crottinage begins, and I saturate all the ends thoroughly. I'm going to keep these separated in foils, just make sure that we get enough lift in this first pass so we can eliminate as much yellow as possible from the hair. We're going to continue all the way up to the crown of the head in this exact same manner. Where we get to the widest part, right at the ear, we're going to split this up into 2 separate foils. Here we are moving into the front hairline. Same exact concept here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair, backcomb it at a 45-degree angle away from the face, move it back to its point of origin, then lay the foil down, and then just paint the lightener all the way up to my crottinage line. This automatically is going to create a V-shaped section that is going to be a little bit closer to the hairline and a little bit farther away over the ear, which is the natural progression of lightness around someone's face. Now here's something that I find so important when you're doing a full head of lightener. I want you to mix up a fresh, small bowl of lightener every 15 minutes. This is so important because you're going to maintain the same amount of oxygen working throughout the entire head of hair. I see so many young stylists that they actually have to run to the bowl and wash out a section of the hair just because their lightener's power is dying. So if you mix fresh every 15 minutes, you will not have this problem. And here we go. So we have a nice soft transition from the new growth into the ends. And here's our colors. We're going to do a pine green mixed into the emerald green. Then we're going to be going into our peppermint on the ends. So here I start with the color application on freshly washed, damp hair. I'm going to take my pine green and I'm going to overlap the pine green just onto the very first inch of where my lightener is. As you can see, what I'm doing is holding a wide tooth comb in my hand and I am grooming the hair back into the previous section to apply. I take that wide tooth comb and I use it to smear the color out so that it has a soft transition over the natural hair into my lightened sections. And I will comb repeatedly throughout to be able to spread the color as much as I can. One thing that you're going to love about Crazy Color is its spreadability. It is far superior than the other lines simply because it's ease of application. And you'll notice I'm using a large tool. I'm covering a lot of ground here and I want to work fast, so I'm going to use a paintbrush instead of just a regular tint brush. A paintbrush with acrylic fibers is perfect for applying a direct dye to the hair. Now we're going to begin applying our end color. This is going to be the emerald green mixed into the peppermint. So I have two separate brushes for each bowl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the emerald green and I'm going to paint it directly on top of where the edge of the natural color moves into the lightened hair, which means it's overlapping my pine green. So I'm going to go from pine green into a mix of the pine green and emerald green into the emerald green. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the peppermint. I'm going to take the peppermint, saturate over at least an inch into the emerald green section, so I actually am getting 6 different colors along the length of the hair. And once again, as you can see, I am combing. The combing increases the blend, and you want to make sure that you use a wide tooth comb, and when you are combing it, that you're actually really going through nice and clean from roots to ends, nice and smooth, so you don't get any of the dappling effect that sometimes happens when you smear color. So we're almost done with the color application, and as you can see, we're going to let this process for about, say, 20 minutes or so. I do like to use mild heat to make sure that it becomes very durable and a little bit longer lasting.